Saudi Arabia built a freshwater pipeline twice the Nile's length through deserts and mountains. But what if it fails may change everything? Saudi Arabia is 98% sand. That's right. There are no rivers, no lakes, no mercy from the climate, just heat that hits 122 degrees Fahrenheit and a landscape that looks like life was never supposed to start there. And yet, somehow, 35 million people are drinking water every day like it's normal. Not because nature helped them, but because they forced it to. The people of Saudi Arabia didn't find a river. They built one. They pulled seawater straight from the ocean, stripped it of salt, then shoved it across deserts, through rock, and up mountains taller than 10,000 feet. And they did this through a pipeline network so massive it's twice the length of the Nile, and long enough overall to wrap around the earth 35 times. Saudi Arabia is one of the only countries on earth without a single natural river. Rain clouds can't cross the high plateau. Groundwater barely exists. Each person gets as little as 68 cubic meters of water a year, far below the UN's absolute scarcity line. For comparison, Americans casually burn through up to 9,000. In a place like that, water isn't a utility. So how did they survive? At first, they dug. Fossil aquifers, underground water trapped thousands of years ago, were pumped relentlessly. By the 1990s, Saudi Arabia was pulling trillions of gallons from the ground. It worked until it didn't. Aquifer levels collapsed, some dropping nearly 500 feet. By 2012, 80% of known reserves were gone. The country realized it was drinking its future, so they turned to the only water source they had left, the ocean. Desalination started small, then exploded. Today, Saudi Arabia runs 41 desalination plants, producing around 3 billion gallons of fresh water every single day, about 22% of all desalinated water on Earth. One plant alone generates enough water for nearly 2 million American households while producing electricity comparable to 2 nuclear reactors. And this isn't some dusty experiment. About 2/3 of all urban water now comes from desalination. Every glass in Riyadh is filtered through machines, membranes, and megawatts. But clean water at the coast didn't mean anything if people lived hundreds of miles inland. That's where the real insanity began. Instead of canals, which would evaporate under the desert sun, Saudi Arabia built enclosed pipelines, thick, sealed arteries carrying fresh water through sandstorms, over barren plains, and straight up mountain ranges nearly 9,200 feet high. Pumping stations run every day and at every hour, forcing water uphill like a river that refuses gravity. The core pipeline system stretches nearly 9,000 miles. With all branches included, the network reaches 880,000 miles. Officially the largest water pipeline system on the planet. Riyadh alone stores 1.3 billion gallons in massive tanks, the largest roofed water storage on Earth. At full power, the system delivers 5 billion gallons per day. That's about what Texas uses on a peak summer day, and every drop has been wrestled from salt, heat, and physics. The costing was enormous. Pumping and desalination ate up nearly 9% of the nation's electricity. Every gallon pushed inland meant more energy burned. Then there's the environmental price. For every liter of drinking water produced, up to 1.5 liters of toxic brine got dumped back into the sea. In parts of the Red Sea, coral was dying, fish were vanishing. This was the hidden bill no one likes to talk about. Saudi Arabia knew it couldn't brute force forever, so it adapted again. Reverse osmosis replaced older, power-hungry methods. Ultra-thin membranes now filter seawater with shocking efficiency, using about the same energy it takes to light 10 LED bulbs. Solar integration is expanding. Even the waste brine is being reimagined as a resource, mined for salt, magnesium, and rare minerals instead of poisoning coastlines. And when land-based systems started hitting limits, they did something wild. They put desalination plants on ships. Floating desalination barges now anchor off the coast, each capable of producing 13 million gallons a day. They can move where needed, scale fast, and plug directly into the national network, automatically becoming a floating river that didn't exist a decade ago. As drought spreads and rivers dry up, this model Saudi Arabia built from scratch starts to look less like excess and more like a preview for the world at large. Artificial rivers, ocean to desert pipelines, water systems powered by membranes instead of rainfall. Saudi Arabia didn't wait for nature to save it. It engineered its own Nile, and this might be what the future looks like.